Welcome back, friends. It's time for another episode of the Golden Age of Gear with Dowie and Jerk.
Dowie and Jerk.
Yeah, Dowie and Jerk.
I don't know who is who, but I guess that's kind of the joke, right?
Yeah. Well,
we're both kind of Dowie jerks.
Yeah. Yes. It has not moved in the correct direction for us.
No.
Doesn't help that, as soon as we go anywhere, we're like, hey, do you want to eat? I'm like, yeah, I want to eat.
So when's lunch?
Yeah. Soon, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, it's my turn this week. So this week, we're going to talk about this guitar, which is my Tom Anderson Raven. For everybody who's not familiar with Tom Anderson, killer builder out of California, and Tom himself is just one of the nicest guys on the planet. There seems to be a theme here that most of the stuff we talk about are from people that we like and that we're like, oh, this guy's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I actually don't own gear from very many people. I'm not going to out any brands or anything or try to start any fights, but if I think or know that somebody behind a brand is a bit of a jerk or really arrogant, I won't own their stuff because I just get turned off of having anything to do with it. So I really like it when you find something that's cool and it turns out the people behind the brand are also just salt of the earth people, which is Tom and Marcus over at Tom Anderson. So this is a Raven and I got it custom made. Full disclosure, they reached out to us. Tom plays guitar at church, was really interested in the D20. He was friends with Sean, and we did some tradesies on, a generator and a bunch of other stuff that they wanted for their shop, and they offered to build me a guitar. So I was like, hell yeah, because there are a few builders.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Golden Age of Gear with Derek and Joey.
Yeah, if you guys could do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button, maybe ring the bell, it would help us out a lot. All right, back to it. That when I think of kind of the highest end of custom shop stuff in the States, like Tom Anderson, James Tyler, I would put Novo up there, Sir, companies like that. But anyway, Tom Anderson is always one of the tops. And the first time I ever saw or played a Tom Anderson was actually our mutual friend Murray Pulver's.
Oh yeah,
Telecaster.
He's got a great one.
Yes, killer guitars. So lots of unique innovations to their guitars. I got to tour their factory after NAMM last year and then again this year. Mm-hmm. And someday there will be a video on the Revv channel about it when I get around to voicing it over so you can actually hear it. But just seeing, how they build things, especially their neck joint and their neck pocket, how it's done, because it is really unique. It's only got 2 screws to bolt on the neck.
Right.
And it's because of the way, which it'll be hard for you guys to see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but
it's all Lego blocks in there.
Yeah. Well, it kind of is. The amount of time that they spend making sure that the neck fits perfectly it's really crazy.
Is it CNC'd or do they? It's got to be CNC'd.
It's CNC'd, but then their hand carving it once it's done to make sure that it fits. So
that's cool.
So they let me spec out my own guitar. I picked this. I like sparkly things.
I do too, man.
Yeah. So I'd never seen one like this. I just saw this finish on their site and thought I like silver sparkle. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do that. Now, I will say I had them do this 2-post bridge system, which is kind of like a Godot 510. Essentially what I told Tom was my favorite guitar out of everything I've ever played is my Schecter Nick Johnson Strat. So I said, what now?
I'm just kidding.
So I asked Tom, hey, could you essentially just make me your Raven, but I want everything the same as my Schecter. I'm like, so the neck is not Wenge. It is a maple neck. Which I believe it's an ebony board as well.
Yeah, it looks like it from here.
Mm-hmm. But I did ask for HSS. I will say I got this and the Novo Ceres J within a day of each other. Mm. And I kind of regret I should have got the P90s that you could get in their Jazzmaster. So I may actually end up sending them an email and being like, hey, could I just get a drop-in pickguard with with your P90s, because I didn't own any guitars with P90s prior to the Saris, and I had kind of like every time I heard them, I was like, it's too noisy for me. I don't really love it.
Yeah.
So that's why I went with HSS in this. But then I got the Novo and those Fralin 90s, and it sound so good.
Yeah.
That I was like, shit, I should have told Tom Anderson, just build me what you build, but I want jumbo frets. I want, this is the type of neck shape that I like, and and I should have let him.
I like my
do his
frets
thing.
like I like my shrimp, jumbo, and breaded,
Yeah,
dipped in marinara sauce.
There's probably Cheeto dust on this from me using Cheeto as a slide. But yeah, so one of the cool things about Tom Anderson is a lot of their stuff is like custom ordered, so you can spec it out. Another thing that I'm a massive fan of, and I know it's a small thing, I love when the headstock color matches the body. Like,
I'm a sucker for that.
Those Fenders that, like, what are they, 60s? Fenders that, like, I don't know why Fender ever stopped. Probably because they couldn't have a generic neck then. But those Fenders with the colored headstocks are just chef's kiss. Yeah.
Nothing beats that.
The best. So, so it has the Buzz Feiten tuning system. Yeah. Well, I'm going to let you play it.
Can I try it?
Yes. And then we'll talk a little bit about, like, they do have a different switching system and, like, the pickup system. They are... Oh, I'll let you play and then I'll talk. You go.
Sorry.
Let's hear it.
I don't think that switch does anything right now.
Not with the push-pull. Yeah.
That's got to do with the bridge pickup, yeah. That's got to be coil split.
I think it splits the coil, and then it adds in the neck pickup when you're in position 1 and you flip the switch. I think it splits the humbucker and then adds... Nope, just splits.
I don't know, who cares?
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, they are killer guitars.
Feels really, really nice.
Yes.
About 100,000 great sounds in it.
Yes. So that pickup system, it has the switch on it, and it's got the coil tap or like the push-pull tone pot. So one of those will activate the neck pickup and split the humbucker. I'm guessing it's the coil tap then, but maybe in position 2 only. I'm not sure.
Okay, this is humbucker.
Yep. That's splitting it. Okay, so now go to position 2 and pull the... Yeah. Okay, go to position 4. One more back, position 4. Yeah. Yeah. It's in 4.
So that's like when you're in your middle position, I think it cancels this and
then-
activates this.
yeah.
So it's like, it looks like you're in tele mode and you're in tele mode.
Right.
There you go. That doesn't seem to do anything. So it's probably auto tapping and then cool.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting? There's not like there is obviously a difference, but there's a lot of similarity in the middle pickup by itself.
Let's hear it clean. See if we hear any more difference there.
Yeah, it's more mid-rangey.
Yeah, warmer.
Yeah. You get that classic telly kind of quack.
Yep.
What a great guitar.
Yeah, it did not love our winter, so I had to get it filed because there's quite a bit of fret sprout on it. That is very common for anybody watching. That's not an indicator of whether or not something's great or not. Almost every guitar with like an unpainted neck that I've ever had at some point needs to get filed here. Do you find that with yours?
Every single one of my guitars.
Yeah.
Yeah, even the binding on my sort of LP styles guitars gets pushed out.
Yeah.
It's just is what it is. The only one that hasn't done that is my McConnell, but that's probably because Jordan builds
it's
here.
built here. Yeah. That's actually like years ago when Travis was working for us, we had a lot of people asking us because there was this trend where amplifier companies were getting into building guitars, and most of them weren't actually building them themselves. They were having a ghost builder build them. But, we talked about like, okay, well, what would it look like if we decided to start building Revv guitars as well? And immediately I was just like, our climate here is so terrible. The amount of like climate control you would have to do to try to have any stability in building here in the winter would just, in my opinion, would negate any chance of doing it. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think if you're like Jordan, where you're building, a few guitars a year, you can, like, you're charging an insane premium for it. I'm not trying to say Jordan's prices are insane, but a car or a guitar. So,
Guitar.
guitar. I like that. But yeah, for like any sort of mass production, I'm just like, nah, it's just, it's not great. Specifically in Winnipeg, like it's
bad here.
Yeah, so
well,
dry
also because
and so cold.
And in the summer, the humidity does get pretty high. Like not Tennessee high, but it does get humid enough that it's a confusing place for instruments.
Yes.
The top of my Collings OM1 cracked.
Oh,
this winter, yeah. It's just, yeah.
I have
Sucks.
not looked at my Taylor acoustics at all in the last 2 years. Like, I haven't had any reason to play them. So I'm scared to look because I'm like, guaranteed the top's cracked over the winter. And like,
this winter was particularly bad, and my studio space, like the climate where my studio is set up right now, the climate control between like the common spaces and where my actual room is really out of whack.
Okay.
So like at one point, the humidity dropped below 10%, and I was like, oh no, because they had cranked the heat for the main space. And in my room, it got up to like 47 degrees Celsius, which is like, I don't know, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. And I was like, for sure, there's damage. And like all my electrics, the fret ends were just like, even ones that had been filed were sticking out. and my callings, I leave my acoustics in the cases, humidified,
Yeah.
all winter long, but it just couldn't compete with that.
Yeah.
So
I'm bad for remembering because I never play acoustic, and I only have like 3 like nicer acoustic guitars. So I'm terrible for like they just sit in my office at our other shop, and I just forget that they're there until somebody's like, "Hey, can you play?" And bring an acoustic guitar. I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah,
and then I'll go
those.
get
Yeah.
I'll go get my 814.
The cost of living's low here, though, folks.
That's
like you
right.
can afford to buy a house, and property taxes are reasonable.
Yes. Yes.
What else? What else is there to say about this? This little beauty, this little silver beauty.
A bunch of my friends played them. Okay. What I've noticed about Andersons is it's always gigging musicians that I know that have them. So because they're workhorse guitars, right? Like they are not inexpensive. They're right up there with kind of the best of the best. So you're looking at probably in US dollars, I'm going to say nearing $4,000, I think, for almost anything that they would build.
Oh,
so
really? Wow.
I'm not trying to, tell everybody that, hey, you should rush out and buy this. But, I have a few instruments that I call like forever guitars, right? Like that if I had to go down to only having 2 or 3 guitars that, I just find that stuff it's not necessarily that it's based on price, but it just happens that custom-made instruments tend to run now around 3,000 to 5,000 US is what I find.
Right.
And it's very rare that I get an instrument like that and try it where I'm not like, yep, like I could probably get rid of almost everything else and just use this if I had to.
Yeah.
And for me, Anderson is one of those guitars. And fun story. A friend of mine in Nashville, is a guy named Jeff King. Do you know Jeff?
Not personally.
Okay.
Yep.
Jeff plays guitar for Reba McEntire and is like one of the, main session guys. He's played on hundreds of records.
Yeah, he's prolific.
He had been bugging me. He's an Anderson artist, and he had said like, "Oh, you need to get an Anderson." I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I would love to." And then Tom reached out, and it worked out. I had only ever seen Jeff had a Strat and a Telly that I had ever seen. And I told him, I didn't have it with me, but I told him about it after I got it. I'm like, I finally got an Anderson. I'm like, I got this Raven. I'm like, it's awesome. It's like this silver sparkle with the like pearloid. And he's like, oh yeah. And he goes over to his rack and he pulls out the exact same guitar as this, but with their P9. He's like, is it like this? And I was like, never mind. I'm like, yes, it's exactly like that. After I got this, it quickly became Sam, who's, kind of my right hand here. The first time he played it, that was his favorite guitar in the shop. So Anderson wanted a few other things from us. So I was like, hey, any chance we could trade some of the value away against a Raven so that Sam could get one. So Sam's got one. I don't know if we have it here today or not, but he got one that's like tobacco or like, is it two-tone burst, Luke? Do you know? Yeah. Anyway, it's like a tobacco burst with like a matte black pickguard and killer guitar. And that's his number one. Like that's whether he goes out playing or even if he goes out as a tech, he takes that guitar with him everywhere. So but so if you haven't checked out Anderson guitars, highly recommend. Have you ever had one?
I've never had one. No, but I played Murray's a bunch, and sorry for the noise, folks. There's an elephant getting a root canal.
Yeah.
But I've always been such a fan of Murray's sound when he plays that thing, and he hasn't played it in a long time. But I think it just needs some love and maybe a new set of pickups. He's been playing the same guitar for like 20 years.
Yeah,
it's like the pickups are killer, but you get to know something. But
my buddy Jeremy has an Icon Classic from them, which is like their Strat, and it's color over where it's like kind of like a Sonic Blue or Daphne Blue over top of
burst.
A burst. And the guitar plays amazing, sounds amazing, looks killer.
Yeah.
Just all around great stuff. We have an Tom Anderson Angel, which is more of their like, like modern kind of shredder style guitar that also is fantastic. That I'll pull out sometime for the golden age that we can take a look at it. But yeah. So if you haven't checked him out, check out Tom Anderson, and yeah, get yourself a Raven if you can. You want to give us another little taste?
Sure, boss. You know what? I'm gonna do a little of this.